When it comes to the It universe, most fans think Pennywise is the beginning and end of all the nightmares hiding beneath Derry. But the deeper you dig into Stephen King's cosmic mythology, the more you realize that Pennywise might not be the only ancient predator lurking in the shadows. There are other beings tied to the same dark cosmic forces, and one of the most mysterious among them is Dandelo, a creature so deceptive, so quietly terrifying, that he often slips under the radar of mainstream horror viewers. In Stephen King's interconnected universe, Dandelo plays a much bigger role in understanding the true nature of fear eaters, emotional parasites, and potentially even the origins of Pennywise himself. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're diving deep into the secret history of Dandelo, the vampire-like creature who feeds not on blood, but on raw human emotions. We're exploring what he really is, how he connects to Pennywise, whether he could be considered Pennywise's child, and what his existence reveals about the larger cosmic ecosystem of monsters that King has spent decades building across his novels. By the end of this breakdown, you'll have a complete understanding of how Dandelo fits into King's massive multiverse and why many fans believe he might be one of the closest creatures to Pennywise's true kind. Let's get into it. The overlooked terror of the Dark Tower universe. Dandelo stands as one of Stephen King's most disturbing and underestimated monsters, a creature whose presence is brief yet unforgettable within the Dark Tower saga. While fans celebrate Pennywise, Randall Flagg, Crimson King, and other iconic villains, Dandelo often slips through the cracks, but a closer study reveals that he is one of the clearest examples of King's interconnected multiverse at work. He is not just a random creature Roland encounters, he is part of something much bigger, something tied directly to the cosmic horror species that includes Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Dandelo is disguised behind the mask of an eccentric older man, but beneath the surface is an ancient predator whose hunger for human emotion is as dangerous as any physical threat Roland ever faced. Dandelo's human mask, the friendly old man named Joe Collins. At first glance, Dandelo appears harmless, even charming. He goes by the name Joe Collins, presenting himself as a lonely, welcoming man living in a cottage on Odd Lane in the Whitelands of Empathica. Everything about his appearance and environment is designed to disarm visitors. The tidy house, the warm food, the soft lighting, the polite humor. But Stephen King makes it very clear that absolutely none of this is real. Dandelo's entire persona is a carefully constructed illusion crafted to manipulate emotions. His pleasant personality, his cheerful hospitality, and even the physical appearance of his home are nothing more than psychic traps. His goal is simple: create the perfect emotional state in his victims so he can feed on them without resistance. It is a psychological method of predation that mirrors the techniques used by Pennywise, but with a different emotional flavor and a different style of attack. The horrifying reality of Dandelo's feeding method. Unlike traditional vampires that require blood, Dandelo is a psychic vampire who feeds on emotional energy. And unlike Pennywise, who prefers terror because it seasons the flesh, Dandelo's preferred emotional meal is joy, specifically hysterical laughter. This preference shapes his entire disguise as Joe Collins, especially his identity as a retired stand-up comedian. When Roland sits down to hear Dandelo's comedy act, the laughter he experiences is not natural. It is forced, overwhelming, and ultimately life-draining. Dandelo's jokes operate like psychic hooks, pulling Roland deeper into uncontrollable laughter until his body weakens and collapses.
Roland's laughter is what gives Dandelo his nourishment. This makes his feeding ritual significantly more sinister than simple violence. His victims are not slaughtered, they are emotionally hollowed out. Their life force siphoned away while they are too overwhelmed to fight back. By the time Roland realizes something is wrong, he is already nearing death. Patrick Danville, the prisoner who reveals Dandelo's true cruelty. One of the clearest demonstrations of Dandelo's monstrous nature is the fate of Patrick Danville, a young boy with the supernatural ability to alter reality through his drawings. Before Roland and Susannah arrive, Patrick had been held captive for years as Dandelo's personal emotional battery. Dandelo forced him into cycles of suffering, fear, confusion, and despair to feed on him continuously. prolonging his life only enough to keep the supply flowing. The cruelty becomes even more disturbing when we learn that Dandelo tore out Patrick's tongue to prevent him from warning others or using his powers in a way that could harm the creature. Even the small detail of removing the erasers from Patrick's pencils reveals how intelligent and cautious Dandelo truly is. He understood Patrick's abilities well enough to protect himself. When Roland and Susannah finally free Patrick, they do not just rescue a prisoner, they uncover years of silent suffering orchestrated by an ancient predator who treats humans not as lives, but as livestock. How Susannah unmasks Dandelo's illusion and saves Roland. The moment Dandelo tries to drain Roland completely, Susannah is the only one in a position to notice something is wrong. While Roland is caught in the trap of forced laughter, Susannah steps away to treat a sore on her face. This seemingly small moment leads her to discover a mysterious note addressed directly to her, left by Stephen King himself as a meta-intervention. The note warns her that Joe Collins is not what he appears to be. When she returns from the bathroom, she realizes that Roland's laughter is unnatural and dangerous. The illusion surrounding Dandelo dissolves in her mind, revealing the creature for what he truly is. Susannah acts without hesitation and kills Dandelo with 2 precise shots. The instant Dandelo dies, his illusions collapse. The cozy cottage becomes barren, cold, and unfamiliar. The once friendly old man shrivels into a corpse-like entity. His death exposes the full truth. Everything Roland and Susannah experienced was an elaborate psychic facade created for the sole purpose of emotional harvesting. The true nature of Dandelo, a Todash creature. To understand what Dandelo really is, we must look beyond the individual story and into the metaphysics of Stephen King's Dark Tower multiverse. Dandelo is widely accepted to be a Todash creature, a being that originates in the horrifying void between worlds. Creatures from Todash space, such as Pennywise, the Crimson King servants, and other cosmic predators, slip into different universes through thin spots in reality. Their abilities are tied not to biological evolution, but to metaphysical manipulation, illusion creation, emotional feeding, reality bending, and form shifting. Dandelo possesses all these traits. His human disguise is not shape-shifting, it is psychic projection. His house is not real architecture, it is an illusion shaped by emotion. His feeding method is not instinctual, it is ritualistic and calculated. Everything about Dandelo aligns with the characteristics of Todash entities, placing him firmly in the same cosmic category as Pennywise. Dandelo and Pennywise, a shared origin. The similarities between Dandelo and Pennywise are too consistent to ignore. Both creatures feed on human emotions, though Pennywise prefers fear and Dandelo prefers laughter. Both create illusions that overwrite physical reality, allowing them to manipulate environments in ways that disorient victims. Both thrive near thin spots between worlds, using the weaknesses in reality as gateways. Both follow internal rules tied to the forms they adopt, and both demonstrate the ability to alter their surroundings in ways that mimic haunted houses, shifting architecture, and psychological hallucinations. Stephen King has directly confirmed that they are not the same entity, but he has also stated that they are likely members of the same species or part of the same cosmic family. Dandelo represents Pennywise's species at a different strength level, perhaps less developed or less powerful, but operating with similar instincts and survival methods. This reveals that Pennywise is not unique. There are others like him across the multiverse. Is Dandelo Pennywise's child? The egg theory. Toward the end of It, the Losers Club discovers something horrifying. Pennywise had laid eggs in the tunnels beneath Derry. Although they destroyed many of them, King deliberately leaves ambiguity about whether every egg was eliminated. Because Derry itself is built on a thin spot that connects to the larger Dark Tower reality, it is entirely possible that an egg hatched and the creature escaped into Todash space. From there, it could easily slip into Empathica, eventually taking root as the creature later known as Dandelo.
This theory explains Dandelo's similarities to Pennywise, while also accounting for differences in power level, personality, and feeding style. It positions Dandelo as potentially Pennywise's offspring, a younger, less developed but genetically related being from the same cosmic species. While King does not explicitly confirm this, he also does not deny the possibility, allowing the theory to fit cleanly within the internal logic of the multiverse. How Dandelo almost killed Roland Deschain. Even though Dandelo appears late in the Dark Tower series, he represents a uniquely lethal threat to Roland. Many enemies Roland encounters rely on physical combat or magical confrontation. Dandelo attacks through emotion, bypassing Roland's defenses entirely. Roland is not used to laughing uncontrollably, nor is he trained to resist psychic humor designed to drain his life. If Susannah had returned only moments later, Roland's quest would have ended then and there. Dandelo shows that some of the most dangerous enemies in the multiverse are not the ones with the biggest claws or the loudest growls. They are the ones who hide behind masks of familiarity, preying on the parts of humanity we least expect to be weaponized. The larger significance of Dandelo in the Stephen King multiverse. Dandelo proves that Pennywise is not a singular anomaly. He is part of a broader class of emotional predators that exist across multiple worlds. This revelation reshapes how we view the Stephen King universe. It suggests that many of King's horrors, from the Crimson King's servants to Pennywise's species, are connected through Todash origins. Dandelo's brief appearance confirms that emotional vampires are not limited to fear-based feeding, nor tied to a single world. They are part of a cosmic ecosystem of predators drifting between realities in search of sustenance. Roland's encounter with Dandelo demonstrates just how wide and dangerous the multiverse truly is. Our nerdy thoughts. And that wraps up everything we currently know about Dandelo and how he fits into Stephen King's terrifying cosmic mythology. Creatures like him remind us that Pennywise is only one piece of a much larger and darker universe, and there are still countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed diving into this corner of the King multiverse, make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more horror lore and deep-cut analysis coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.